Hello everyone, welcome to the complete introduction video of Pseudo Physical Collision 1.0 version. This update contains several new features. For example, now you can parry projectiles like this. In this video, I will talk about 4 parts. The new projectile parry, the new shield blocking, a complete introduction of melee parry, and some other updates including reply to comments. Intuitively, if your weapon or shield can collide with a projectile before it hits you, it will be parried and you won't get hurt. There is only one requirement for projectile parry, that your weapon or shield must be moving at a minimum speed. You will find this requirement to be very loose for weapons. As long as you are gently moving it, the parry will happen. Similarly, if you don't move your shield fast enough, it will be a normal block, not a parry. If your hand speed is high enough, it will be a parry. There is an interesting feature. Since the speed of arrows, the most common kind of projectile in Skyrim, is too high, making the successful parry a pretty random thing. So this mod offers a mechanism that can slow down projectiles near you, like Neo in the Matrix. It takes effect if the player is holding the trigger on the controller. Left or right ones are both okay. I am currently holding my trigger. Then, I can spend magicka to slow down projectiles, making it easier to parry, and if I don't have enough magicka, it won't take effect. This is effective not only to arrows, but also to fireballs, spider webs, ice specs, and more. There are 2 limitations to projectile parry. First, if the enemy is too far away from you, like the shooter on the top of the tower, their projectiles can't be detected. I'm still trying to find a fix for this. Second, picking up parried projectiles may lead to bugs, so I make parried projectiles unpickable. Everything related to projectile parry can be configured in this section in the config file. In vanilla Skyrim VR, if you want to block with your shield, you have to hold it in front of you, and then the game considers you to be in blocking pose. As another big update of this mod, now your shield can collide with enemies' weapons. The collision makes you immediately enter blocking pose, meaning the hit on you will be blocked. This new feature doesn't affect the vanilla blocking system at all, just adding a more intuitive way to trigger it. There is a limitation to shield blocking. All shields are treated as collision boxes that are in the shape of discs with the same radius. So, if a shield's model doesn't look round, or it's super big or super small, you may feel the collision doesn't match. Everything related to shield blocking can be configured in this section in the config file. The radius of collision box is configured by this value. If you have installed timed block modes like deflection or SOSCPO, which is included in Fool's Waverjack mod list, please stay at the end of this video. I will discuss an issue between this mod and those timed block modes, and also provide a solution. We have talked about 2 features, projectile parry and shield blocking. Next, we will talk about weapon parry. To make it clear, these 3 features are 3 independent systems. Shield blocking invokes the vanilla Skyrim blocking system, while projectile parry and weapon parry are 2 new systems implemented in this mod.
Weapon Parry was the only feature of this mod before this video and the 1.0 update, and it remains to be the most complicated feature of this mod. It works like this. Every frame, my mod draws a line on your weapon and a line on enemy's weapon. It checks if these two lines are closer than a certain value and whether the enemy is attacking. If so, a parry happens. Thus, the best strategy to parry is to reach your weapon out, like fencing in real world, and try to reach enemy's weapon before it hurts you. The effect of weapon parry is the most complicated part of the mod. First, obviously, the enemy's attack will be nullified.
Unless you don't have enough stamina.
Second, you will see the slow motion effect, see the sparks, and hear the collision sound. Third, both the enemy and you will have stamina costs. Then the next few effects depend on your weapon speed at the moment of parry. If you are just holding your weapon still, you will be at a disadvantage. The enemy's attack won't be interrupted, so they can continue their attack combos. You will have a higher stamina cost and be pushed away a little. Also, after this update, you will get a little damage since many players said this mod made the combat too easy. The damage can be tweaked or turned off in the config file. If you are moving your weapon fast at the moment of parry, you will be at an advantage. The enemy will be pushed away a little bit, they will rotate a little, suffer from high stamina cost, and they will be recoiled or staggered, meaning they cannot continue their attack combos.
If their health is low, they can even be ragdolled. There will be completely no damage to you, you won't be pushed away, and will have much less stamina cost. The slow motion effect will be longer, and additionally, a power attack can also give you such an advantage. If you feel this mod makes combat too easy, you can tweak lots of things in the config file.
You can make weapon parry harder to trigger by these two settings. If you feel you can parry enemy's attack even after their weapon cuts through your body, which doesn't make sense, you can reduce the delay frames here. If you want parry to cost more stamina or more health, check out the settings in section 4. Of course, you can also change the game's difficulty or use difficulty modes. For example, you can use Simply Balanced and adjust the melee damage for each weapon and the melee damage taken.
As some small updates, I improved the collision of claws of werewolves and other races, so it should feel more realistic. Some players have mentioned the sparks are overwhelming, so I reduced the number of sparks in settings, and you can reduce it further. This really depends on what spark mode you use. Some players report that this mod makes their SkyrimVR unable to start, showing this error message. I am sorry that I cannot reproduce the problem, but it seems that it has something to do with your Windows system, SkyrimVR, and VR address library. If you encounter the same problem, please provide the information listed here, which may be useful for us to locate the root cause. Now let's talk about the issue caused by the blocking system of this mod and the timed block mods. Those mods consider a block to be a timed block if you enter blocking pose shortly before getting hit. But if you use this mod and make your shield collide with the enemy's weapon, and considering the collision normally happens just a few frames before hit, the blocking triggered by this mod is almost always a timed block, which makes the combat less challenging. To solve this issue, I implement an optional feature. In the config file, you can find the setting, press button to block. is turned off by default, but if you use timed block modes, you may want to turn it on. I also suggest you to adjust the timed block window to be very small in those modes, like 0.1 seconds. Yes, because with this mod, blocking feels much more precise. You can set a very small window. Also, you will want to set the cooldown time to 0. After turning on, a block in this mode will now have two conditions. One, as always, your shield needs to collide with enemy's weapon. Two, you need to be holding the trigger on controller. Imagine holding the trigger means you are holding your shield tightly. Now, to make a timed block, you need to not only make your shield collide with enemy's weapon, but also hold the trigger within 0.1 seconds before the collision. If you have been holding the trigger more than 0.1 seconds before the collision, you can only have a normal block. If you just hold the trigger but don't make your shield collide with enemy's weapon, or your shield collides but you don't hold the trigger, nothing will happen. And that's all. It's a very long video because this mod becomes pretty complicated, and I want to explain all the essential details clearly. I hope you can enjoy the mod. Thanks very much for being interested.